YouTube, it's Eric. This video is gonna be pretty quick. I'm just gonna highlight like a funny exchange that happened on live television in 2004, I believe. This was when John Kerry was running against George Bush. Both of them were in the Skull and Bones fraternity, and both were absolute tools of the Jesuits and the papacy. But like in this interview, I have it on my phone, but I'm gonna link it. I'm gonna link everything in the description. But Tim Russert is the journalist, and he interviewed both John Kerry and George Bush. And the journalist Tim Russert was educated by the Jesuits at John Carroll University and has an honorary degree at Jesuit Scranton. But Tim Russert, the Jesuit trained journalist, asked George Bush and John Kerry about their affiliations in the Skull and Bones fraternity, and both Bush and Kerry said like it's so secret we can't even talk about it. But the whole mockery of it is that all three of these guys were complete servants and tools of the Jesuits, and that's what they were really hiding by putting this truth about Skull and Bones in plain sight. So, but this is the video I'm going to play here off my phone. I'm going to link this in the description. Here's the title of it: Bush Kerry Skull and Bones Avoidance. Okay, but this is Tim Russert here. I'm going to show you after I play this video. Here's the journalist. He was educated by the Jesuits. Okay, and I'm going to show you information like the Washington Post. I'll link this also. The Washington Post wrote an article in 2008 saying that George Bush is like the first Catholic president of the United States. Some very revealing quotes in there. I'll read some of those from you too. But here's this is Tim Russert. Okay, I'm going to play this off my phone.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society. It's so secret we can't talk about it. What does that mean for America?
It's you're both in the Skull and Bones Secret Society. What does that mean for America? George Bush said it's so secret we can't talk about it.
I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the rest. Number 322.
The conspiracy theorists are going to go crazy with this one. The Jesuit trained Tim Russert says. And this is the George Bush said that he saw God in the eyes of the Pope. I actually reposted that video on my channel.
First of all, he's not the nominee. And, but, look,
George Bush also attended his Red Mass. You can see those pictures on the internet. George Bush's great grandfather, George Herbert Walker Bush, was educated by the Jesuits at Stonyhurst College in England.
No, I'm not gonna lose. You both were members of Skull and Bones.
Okay, so now the interview switched to John Kerry. So this was the first interview here. So now Tim Russert, the Jesuit-trained journalist, is asking a question to John Kerry, who is also Skull and Bonesman. John Kerry was also to being a Skull and Bonesman was educated by the Jesuits at Boston College.
Society at Yale. What does that tell us? Not much, because it's a secret. Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code? I wish there were something secret I could manifest. 322, secret number? There are all kinds of secrets, Tim, but one thing is
there's all kinds of secrets.
I disagree with this president's direction that he's taking the country. We can do a better
job. But one of the secrets that John Kerry had, John Kerry's speechwriter, like Barack Obama, was the Jesuit-trained John Favreau. Right here. There's John Favreau on the right. So he was the former director of speechwriting for President Barack Obama. Favreau attended the Jesuit College of the Holy Cross, graduating as valedictorian. In college, he accumulated scholastic honors, took part in the directed community and civics programs. After graduation, he went to work for the John Kerry presidential campaign. Look at that. Yeah. And all you gotta do is check John Kerry on Wikipedia. John Kerry was educated by the Jesuits. Okay, these are the secrets that he was referring to in this interview here. If you see John Kerry, he was educated here. He went to Yale University where he was Skull and Bones. He even says on his Wikipedia he was a member of the Skull and Bones Society at Yale. And then he went to Boston College. Right here. Kerry received his doctorate from Jesuit Boston College in 1976. Yeah. So actually, I'll finish off the interview here.
To do it. And we'll be watching. Be safe on the campaign trail, John Kerry.
Yeah, I'll play it one more time, just front to back.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society. So secret we can't talk about. What does that mean for America? Are going to go I'm sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the
Tim Russert show is on NBC. The same NBC, MSNBC had the McLaughlin show, which was run by a Jesuit priest, Tom McLaughlin. Tom McLaughlin, the Jesuit priest, was also Richard Nixon's speechwriter at $32,000 a year. Here, Tim Russert is educated at the Jesuit Canisius High School. So he received a Jesuit education. And then he attended the Jesuit John Carroll University. Where is it here? Jesuit John Carroll University, right here. Russert attended. Okay, and Russert he got an honorary degree from Jesuit Scranton. So Russert was affiliated with 3 Jesuit institutions. The journalist in this interview.
You were both in Skull and Bones, the secret society. It's so secret we can't talk about it. What does that mean for America? Conspiracy theorists are going to go on. Sure they are. I don't know. I haven't seen the rest. Number 322. First of all, he's not the nominee, and but look, I look for. Are you prepared to lose? No, I'm not going to lose. You both were members of Skull and Bones.
This is the article I recommend you read. I reposted this from the Washington Post. I'm just going to read you this one quote I want to show you here. This is from called "The Catholic Wind in the White House." Daniel Burke, April 13, 2008. Okay. Well, like the night of Columbus, Opus Dei, Rick Santorum said about George Bush, he's certainly more Catholic than Kennedy. End quote. And look at this. This is from a former Bush scribe and Catholic, William McGurn. Quote: I used to say that there are more Catholics on President Bush's speechwriting team than on any Notre Dame starting lineup in the past half century. And this, you see here, Bush has also placed Catholics in prominent roles in the federal government and relied on Catholic tradition to make a public case for everything from his faith-based initiative to quote-unquote anti-abortion legislation, which is just Jesuitical sophistry. Okay. Yeah, I'll link this in the description.
What does that tell us? Not much, because it's a secret. Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code? I wish there were something secret I could manifest. 322.
Well, you guys are slaves and servants of the Pope.
There are all kinds of secrets, Tim, but one thing is not a secret. I disagree with this president's direction that he's taking the country. We can do a better job, and I intend to do it. And we'll be watching. Be safe on the campaign trail. John Kerry, thanks for joining us. And we'll be right back.
Yeah, I just wanted to show you I thought that was funny how like they put that truth out on the Skull and Bones, right on plain sight. And Tim Russert, the Jesuit trained journalist, even said, "Oh, the conspiracy theorists are gonna have a field day with this one." Hey, what's up, guys? Oh, hey, what's up? I'm just reading. So the Jesuits withdraw their support from Brett Kavanaugh. Yeah, I'll have to look that up. Was that through like the Jesuit America magazine that came out? Oh, absolutely. Actually, Barack Obama. Actually, you know, a video you guys should watch on my channel. Let me see if Lou Dobbs. I reposted a video of Lou Dobbs interviewing this Jesuit priest on live TV, CNN. Coincidentally, Lou Dobbs' house was actually shot up after this interview because Lou Dobbs like calls out the Jesuit for being dishonest. But look at Barack Obama nominated the Jesuit Lou Dobbs interviews here. Look, so June 11, 2014, reporting from thejesuits.org. President Barack Obama has named Jesuit Father Thomas J. Reese as the newest member of the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom, which serves as an advisory panel to the federal government on protecting religious freedom abroad. Father Reese joins 3 fellow Catholics on the commission: Chairman Robert P. George, a bioethicist and Princeton University professor; James Zogby, the founder and president of the Arab American Institute. Founder of the Arab American Institute, James Zogby is a Catholic; and Mary Ann Glendon, a Harvard University law professor and former U.S. ambassador to the Vatican, is joining Father Thomas Reese on the United States Commission on International Religious Freedom. It was the magazine. Yeah, okay, well, that doesn't. Yeah, that's the Jesuits playing a dialectic, because America magazine is run by like Father James Martin, who is like this so-called quote unquote Jesuit social justice warrior. You know what I mean? A joke. Yeah, but I want this video to go too long. But like, I'll show you the research I was doing tonight. I was just looking up some Jesuit educated governors. And the current, you see here, this is Doug Ducey, the current governor of Arizona. He went to, let me see here. Oh, I'm not screen shared. Give me a second. I apologize for that. Okay, so Doug Ducey here. Doug Ducey is the current governor of Arizona, incumbent, and you see your early life education. Doug Ducey graduated from St. John's Jesuit High School. Okay, right there. Okay. Tim Russert. Yeah, Lou Dobbs, he was fired right after for mentioning the word Jesuit, yeah. And I apologize if I wasn't showing my computer screen during the earlier part of the video. You see here, Tim Russert was educated at Jesuit John Carroll University, Jesuit Canisius College, and got an honorary degree from Jesuit University of Scranton. I just funny Tim Russert was conducting like this interview that brought up the Skull and Bonesman. um, Current, actually, this guy here is interesting. John Peter Ricketts is the current governor of New York. He is the son of Joe Ricketts, the founder of TD Ameritrade. He worked for TD Ameritrade from 1993 to 2004 or to 2016. He had an unsuccessful U.S. Senate run, and he's a part owner of the Chicago Cubs. So this is the current governor of Nebraska. The current governor of Nebraska. Uh, Let me see here. Um, he's a Knight of Columbus. Yeah, Ricketts is a Roman Catholic. He is a member of the Knights of Columbus and a Knight of the Holy Sepulchre. Right there. Yeah, just this. I saw some interesting connections with the governors. Actually, this current governor of West Virginia, Jim Justice, just passed a law in West Virginia that now the Catholic schools are being publicly funded now in West Virginia. You can type in Jim Justice, West Virginia public schools. I found this interesting. Jim Justice is the richest man in West Virginia, and he's the governor. Who is another Catholic one here? Yeah, this guy Butch Otter is Roman Catholic, governor of Idaho. Um, Went to Bishop Kelly High School right here, and then he attended St. Martin's Catholic College. This guy John Bell Edwards, the current governor of Louisiana, is a Knight of Columbus. And actually, that's interesting here. John Bell Edwards' mother gave John Edwards a Knight of Columbus costume that used to belong to his father. It's funny. Let me see here. This guy is Roman Catholic here. Brian Sandoval, current governor of Nebraska. Current governor of Texas, Greg Abbott, is a Roman Catholic. John Carney, the current governor of Delaware, is a Roman Catholic. That's all on the Wikipedia pages. Jerry Brown, the current governor of California, is a Catholic and Jesuit trained. Yeah, that's right. The Cubs did win it all. Probably a reason for that is Pete Ricketts' involvement with the team. Dan Malloy is the current governor of Connecticut, Jesuit trained at Boston College, right there. Yeah. But I just wanted to show that with the Tim. I thought that Tim Russert interview was pretty funny, and just like they were putting the truth out right in plain sight. Here, I'll go back and play the interview one more time just for the videos over here. Give me a second. Playlist, like videos.
Secret society. It's so secret we can't talk about it. What does that mean for America?
I'll show you a connection. I mentioned John Kerry and Barack Obama's Jesuit-educated speechwriter. I'll show you a connection actually before I go here. So John Favreau. Again, this is just one of the many secrets that you'll hear John Kerry says. John Kerry says, "Oh, there's tons of secrets." Here, John Favreau attended Jesuit Holy Cross, but look at this here. John Favreau. Where was it here? So John Favreau currently serves on the board of advisors of Let America Vote, a voting rights organization founded by fellow Crooked Media host Jason Kander. So this Let America Vote is nothing but a Jesuit front organization. Because you look at Jason Kander, who is a Democratic nominee for Senate, the United States Senate in Missouri in 2016. Here, Jason Kander. You go down here and he went to Jesuit Georgetown University. Okay, and he went to Bishop Mage High School. Okay, so it's just a front organization. Okay, that front organization being Let America Vote. Here it is right here. Founded in 2017. 527 organization. That's the legal status. I think I'm gonna end it there. I don't want the video to ramble on too long, but actually I'm gonna play this out before I go.
I don't know. I haven't seen the red number 322. First of all, he's not the nominee, and look, I look for. Are you prepared to lose? No, I'm not gonna lose.
Here's a story that I mentioned with the Governor Justice in West Virginia. See here, West Virginia. This is January 31st, 2018. West Virginia Governor Jim Justice signed a proclamation recognizing Catholic schools in West Virginia. I would click on this for some reason. Let me see if this opens up. Yeah, for some reason my computer's having a hard time opening up this link. But all these governors are Catholic controlled. I'm going to do a future video on senators as well and judges in the U.S.
Is there a secret handshake? Is there a secret code? I wish there were something secret.
Actually,
I could manifest.
speaking on the Skull and Bones, you can actually get a list of Skull and Bones members. Like Wikipedia even puts it out. Like the actor Paul Giamatti from Hollywood's in the Skull and Bones. You know, Avril Harriman. You know, E.I. Harriman. The current United States Secretary of the Treasury. What's his name? Paul Munchen. Munchkin. I call him. I used to pronounce it Munchkin. Paul Munchen. He's a Skull and Bones man. Percy Rockefeller is in the Skull and Bones. One of the former directors of the Federal Reserve Bank of New York, Charles Adams, is in the Skull and Bones. Like this, it's a huge list. One of the co-founders of Morgan Stanley, Harold Stanley, was in Skull and Bones. um, here you got the president of the Federal Reserve Bank, George Leslie Harrison, in Skull and Bones. You got Avril Harriman here, United States ambassador to Soviet Russia as well, personal friend of Jesuit educated Joseph Stalin. Yeah. The son of Skull and Bonesman William Howard Taft, who is Theodore Roosevelt's personal representative to the Pope. Charles Phelps Taft is in the Skull and Bones. So this Jesuit-educated George Herbert Walker was in the Skull and Bones. You see George Herbert Walker Jr. George Herbert Walker Jr. was a financier and a co-founder of the New York Mets. Okay. Yeah, so I recommend going through this whole list of the Skull and Bones because it's pretty influential list. And like this group is this group serves the Pope. Yeah. Let me see if who's the most latest. Oh, there's the they got the picture of John Kerry up. See George Bush right there. Looks like I have Stephen Mnuchin, the current United States Treasury Secretary, Paul Giamatti, and the latest Skull and Bones member looks like it's Angela Warnick Butchkull, is an American rabbi, first Asian American to be ordained a rabbi. It's funny. Here you got a chief economist of Barack Obama's Economic Recovery Board was a Skull and Bonesman, Austin Goolsbee. Oh, this Skull and Bonesman here goes on Bill Maher's show quite a bit. Austin Goolsbee, that's funny. Yeah, I'm gonna finish off the video here.
322, secret number? There are all kinds of secrets, Tim, but one thing is not a secret. I disagree with this president's direction that he's taking the country. We can do a better job, and I intend to do it. And we'll be watching. Be safe on the campaign trail. John Kerry, thanks for joining us. And we'll be right back.
I think I'm gonna call it here. John Kerry went to Boston College. Okay. Here, John Kerry gave a speech at Boston College. Looks like in 2014. And actually, one last thing I should show you is I found I found this fascinating. Was the Jesuit Boston College CEO Club, the Chief Executives Club at Boston College. I'm gonna get back in the comments. I want to see what you guys have to think about this. Thought this was very revealing. All like the biggest CEOs from the world come speak at Jesuit Boston College. Here they had recently had the chief executive of Visa, Alfred F. Kelly, speak. You had you had the CEO of Mayo Clinic, John Noseworthy, speak. You had the CEO of Goldman Sachs, Lloyd Blankfein, speak at Boston College. Chairman CEO of AT&T, Randall Stevenson, spoke in February 2018. And it's very this is just to me you just organizations like this. It's just like when you see the Council of Foreign Relations have like 500 of the biggest corporations in the world sponsoring them, and you have Roman Catholic Jeff Emlet, who got Jesuit honorary degrees from Boston College and Loyola University, former chairman of General Electric as a chairman. Oh, that's funny. Yeah, this is a big time, big list here. Yeah. But yeah, check out organizations like that. Yeah, actually, the Federal Reserve. Actually, lastly, actually, before I go, this is what a lot of the shows don't make this connection with the Federal Reserve. Who is the Chief Justice of the United States when the Federal Reserve was signed? It was Jesuit-educated Edward Douglas White. Look at this, Edward Douglas White, ninth Chief Justice of the United States from 1910 to 1921. That's the Federal Reserve Act signed in 1913. Who nominated the Jesuit-educated Chief Justice that oversaw the Federal Reserve Act? Well, it was Skull and Bonesman William Howard Taft, Theodore Roosevelt's personal secretary to the Vatican. That's who it was. Okay, and you see here Edward Douglas White, early life education, Georgetown University, and he actually fought for the Confederacy during the Civil War. Let's see if this is on Wikipedia. Yeah, White fought for the Confederacy during the Civil War, and he was captured in 1865. Yeah. But this is a big connection with the Federal Reserve. The judge that the Supreme Court, when the Supreme Court Chief Justice of the United States Supreme Court, when the Federal Reserve was signed, was a Roman Catholic Jesuit trained judge. You see, a devout Roman Catholic his entire life. Okay, Irish Catholic descent. He first studied at the Jesuit College in New Orleans, then at the Catholic Mount St. Mary's in Emmitsburg, Maryland. Lastly, he attended Jesuit Georgetown University, and he was a member of the Philademic Society at Georgetown. So the Philademic Society, you could say, is almost like the skull and bones of Georgetown. I don't know if they give a list here of who's been members. Ulysses S. Grant was in the Philademic Society. Are you kidding me? The same president that actually went to meet Pope Leo the 13th after the Jesuits killed Abraham Lincoln. President Andrew Jackson was in the Philademic Society. Unbelievable. Scottish Rite Mason. Archbishop John Hughes, who founded Fordham University, was in the Georgetown University Philademic Society. Dude, these are the secrets that, like, in the interview I was showing you with Tim Russert and between John Kerry and Bush. John Kerry's like, oh, there's tons of secrets. Like the Philademic Society is like one of those secrets. Okay. Here's another. Here's the hit. Here, look at this. So Franklin Pierce was the 14th president of the United States. He was in the honorary member of the Jesuit Georgetown Philademic Society, and look at he's doing the Master Mason hidden hand picture right here on the screen. Franklin Pierce. Yeah. Actually, yeah. If you guys are actually, I saw this. Like the current governor of Kansas, who just got elected, Jeff Coyler. You see, incumbent January 31st, 2018. Educated at Georgetown, and he went to the Thomas More Prep School. Saint Thomas More, the patron saint of all judges and lawyers, the Inquisitor, Saint Thomas More, who wrote his book The Utopia, which is like one of the fundamental doctrines of communism, fundamental pillars of communism. Okay, but yeah, this Philademic Society is very, very like you see. Antonin Scalia was in the Philademic Society, Jesuit trained Opus Dei member. There's a now Antonin Scalia School of Law at the public George Mason University. Knight of Malta, Vice President of the Federal Society, Leonard Leo funded the Antonin Scalia School of Law. Yeah, it's like this is the Philademic Society. Literally is like the Georgetown Skull and Bones, if you will. Former presidents have been in this. Yeah. The George Washington Parke Curtis, Virginia plantation owner. He was the stepson and adopted son of George Washington. Oh, would you look at that? Okay, watch my video, Jesuit connection to George Washington. I still want to be here for another 20 minutes. But yeah, huge. And actually, this Archbishop John Hughes was the bishop that got the Bible out of the public school system in the United States. Very important to note. Okay. Well, I think I'm gonna call this video here. I'll link the Philharmonic Society list, the Skull and Bones list, and I'll link the interview that I was playing, and I'll link this Washington Post article that exposes, like, in plain sight, that Bush's entire administration was Catholic, and Bush said that he saw God in the eyes of Benedict XVI. Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Well, it's not just Catholic. But the Jesuits will go into any disguise. Like that's written in their doctrine. The Jesuits will appear as a Protestant. The Jesuits will appear as a Brahmin. Jesuits will appear as Muslims. And for me personally, I think it's a massive a number, like a huge, like it literally. I think it's a massive a number, a massive amount of preachers and pastors in non-denominational Catholic churches that are actually in reality Jesuits. I think it's a massive number. But yeah, I think I'm gonna end this video here, guys. But peace and love, namnast, and take care. Catch you on the next one. And actually, just like Ulysses Grant being a member of the Jesuit Philademic Society. It was Ulysses Grant that actually made America a corporation in the 1971 Organic Act. You can read the whole act on archive.org. It says right in section 1 that the United States of America is a corporation. Okay? And you had the Jesuit puppet Ulysses Grant as president of the United States when this happened. And actually, Georgetown, Maryland became a tax exempt city in section 22 of the Organic Act of 1871. And you guys, President Ulysses Grant was in the Jesuit Georgetown Philademic Society, and Ulysses Grant met Pope Leo the 13th when he did his world tour after he was president. Yeah. But that's all for this one, guys. Peace and love. I'm glad you guys tuned in. Actually, Sabbatai and Frank. Yeah, I'm gonna do a future video on the Sabbatai and Frankists. It's to me like it's very much like the Illuminati in that sense. The Sabbatai and Frankists were essentially just controlled by the Jesuits, and they used like a more secular or like philosophic movement to push their Jesuitism through. But yeah, but Salutavian for like that kind of that's like the ideological actually like forerunner of like Zionism even. So I'm gonna have to do a full video on that. But yeah, that's all for this one, guys. Peace and love, and nam nas. Take care.